there was some highlights to this episode though, man. Like
This episode? Like
yeah,
what?
the
I
Daemon
literally
the Daemon little like rallying of the
No!
Harrenhal
No!
troops and stuff.
No! That
No?
was terrible. It was so bad. Boo! Boo! Terrible finale. Horrible finale. Game of Thrones is dead. It was back. We did a video like a week ago saying it's all the way back. That Game of Thrones is back. House of the Dragon has saved us. What morons we were. Idiots. This is why it's bad idea to review episodes of TV shows, because the peaks and valleys that you have to go through, where 1 minute you're having a great time and then you watch a bad episode and it's like, oh, what happened to the good time I was having? Now I'm having a bad time. And this finale was just put me right back at the end of Game of Thrones, where I was just like, what? Like the end of season 7, where you just realized that now you're gonna have to wait 2 years, or maybe you didn't realize at that point, but it ended up being 2 years from that point to get to the finale, and a wasted season 7, and then season 8 was awful, obviously. That's where I feel like House of the Dragon is right now. Storylines that went absolutely nowhere, a lot of just time wasting, few great moments in the season, but generally speaking, I think most people realize that not only is it a terrible finale that we just got, but it's also 2 years till the next season, and then it's going to be another 2 years to the final season. So that's 4 years from today that we have to wait to get a resolution to the story that's just wasting our time. Rembo, echo my sentiments.
This show, I at first when the last episode happened, I was like, this show's so mid. I was like, some episodes are great, some are boring, but some are boring. But then I looked back and I was like, no, actually, like 75% of this show is just boring, just boring and dumb. And that's what. Don't get the rose-colored glasses. Most of season 1 blew dicks, and everybody knows that. Everybody knows that first season was it was just like time jumping, chaotic nonsense with dumb storylines. But then the last 3 episodes were like, oh, okay, kind of got interesting, and like the tension rose, and the actor who plays Viserys did a good job. But so it's like, oh, okay, kind of gave us hope for the next season. And then this season comes out, little slow at the gate, but they chop off a baby's head. That was exciting. And then we got the dragon episode. Okay, yeah, let's go. We got dragons. And then we just escaped to Planet Boring for the next 4 episodes. They're trying so hard to make Alicent an interesting character. She's not. She's boring as shit. They try to give Daemon. They tried to get, and were successful at giving him the most boring, uninteresting, drawn-out story they could have possibly thought of, which is just him going on a drug trip that seemingly he's getting poisoned, but it's never resolved. It's never resolved. The lady, he's like tripping out balls. He doesn't seem to have a problem with it. It's obviously this lady that's doing it. I don't know why she's doing it. But then he goes to the Godwood and sees the future from the next show. Nothing makes sense. Nothing makes sense, and it's boring, and I hate it.
Oh,
I will not be wasting my time waiting 2 years for this next fucking season to come. I give up.
Oh, boycotting the next season?
We've already successfully boycotted the end
boys level.
Remy and I already successfully boycotted the end of the boys' most recent season, and so when we say we're boycotting something, we are boycotters. We caught boys.
Yeah.
Take that out. That sounds really bad.
You guys are the best boy catchers around.
Makes me more excited than caughting boys.
And we just got canceled. We had such a good thing going.
Are you our paragon of positivity? Surely you found some enjoyment with this season that wasn't just Remy and I reverting back to our hateful ways.
I did. I love the slow parts as much as I do the high parts, but I totally agree. Inconsistent, definitely 100% this season. Even the last season, inconsistent, where it is these peaks and valleys. But I mean, books, when you read a book, the big lore, big fantasy novels, there's going to be times with character building. And we had to do a lot of that in House of Dragons. We got introduced to a lot of characters that we knew nothing about, maybe some mentions in the lore and whatnot. But this show fleshed out a lot of like little things that happened in the books and was talked about in the movies. And I think it did a good job of it. I was very engulfed in the world, all the houses, a lot of the characters. This season definitely developed some characters better than others, where we did get like people like Daemon, on the back burner, but then people like, oh gosh, what was a good one to me that got developed this season?
Yeah,
Now
take
that I
take your
now that I
time,
say
Jason.
that,
Take your time. We don't,
checking
Daemon.
my notes. Nope, not the sea snake, not Aegon, Daemon, Alice. Oh gosh, well, there's not many Ottos in a cell though. Okay, well, okay. Otto, we did like Otto. There we go. There we had Otto for a little while. There, I found one in my
It
notes.
was
But
great. Otto came in and was great, and then left, and then we got cock teased that he was coming back, and then he didn't come back until
Yeah.
one frame at the very end of the last episode, and it was like,
I know, which was a big tease.
that just made no sense why it took so long, and then we got no resolution to his character in this.
You're right. I felt like lot didn't happen in this season, but I still enjoyed it, man. It was beautiful. It had some great acting. Like, I think that was the best part of what happened this season is a lot of characters had some great scenes that I like really want to go back and watch, just just Alicent, Rhaenyra, just both of them had some scenes together very well. And of course, Daemon did absolute incredible in a lot of them. So I agree with you. I'm going to be positive though. I did enjoy this season. I will keep enjoying it and rewatch this episode just kind of before here. And there is some great feels in that last one, but it does feel like we set up for the Dance of Dragons, which we were all hoping to see much sooner than we're getting. But it's going to be season 3 is going to be this all out war, all out Dance of Dragons. So it took a while. I think season 3 is going to be what we all are wanting out of this show, but it's taken a while to get there, and I didn't know about this whole 2 years for each season because, I'll be dead by the time that this is releases. I won't get to see the end of this with my age.
I can't abide for multiple years. I was like, I just need to live long enough to see the end of Game of Thrones. That was like my goal was just to survive until Game of Thrones came out. And look at what a waste. What a horrible thing to pin my livelihood on watching that.
The books could fulfill that,
No, the books are never going to get
Fat ass George R.R. Martin hasn't done a day of work since the Game of Thrones season 1 came out. Fuck that guy. This show has already just hard left on certain things from the original book. Like, certain people should basically already be dying or dead that are currently alive. And certain characters are at the very forefront of the story. Alicent, and she's not supposed to be that noteworthy of a character at all at this point. So, like, yeah, but if you pull up on HBO, you pull up to watch the show, who are the two characters you see? Alicent and Rhaenyra. And Alicent literally couldn't be less important. She's like the 14th most important character to this story, but they keep on pushing her. Why? I don't know. I genuinely don't know.
I mean, I can see that. I mean, but there was some highlights to this episode, though, man. Like
this episode, like
yeah,
what?
the Daemon, the Daemon little like rallying of the
no, that was terrible. It was so bad. First of all, it's bad enough that Daemon was stuck in hell for 4 episodes or 5 episodes. I think it was 13 episodes this season. Out of 8 episodes, 13 of them, Daemon was specifically sidelined to do drug trips, and all it is to give you a member berry of, look, Game of Thrones. Remember that show that ended horrific? Like, the member berries don't even work because every time they showed a really bad, horrible Night King, like, it just looked horrible.
I don't even know if it's supposed to be the Night King. I think it's supposed to be one of the generals.
Doesn't matter. Looked horrible.
It looks awful. It looks so bad.
The B version of Night King.
It was so awful and jarring, and it was just like, oh, remember Game of Thrones? And it's just trying to connect it completely artificially. And then Daemon's whole thing of like, I want to be king. My aspirations from the season 1. I should be king. I'm the rightful king. And in 10 seconds, he trips on DMT, and he's like, no, I want to pledge to you because I saw a vision, and yeah, we're gonna fight for our queen.
It
That was
wasn't 10
terrible, Jason.
It wasn't
Disavow
10
this.
seconds. No, I mean, I agree that it took a long time to reach that, but I feel like that was necessary for him to be able to like see the future and actually absorb it. Like her saying, "You're now ready for it." I know it was a 4-episode, 5-episode drug trip, but as far as me as a viewer being like, okay, Daemon would actually take this information and be like, oh yeah, Rhaenyra is the true queen.
What gives you that idea? Like
It
what
took
has
his drug
shown?
trip. Yeah, his drug trip for 4 days, like seeing that, because he was not like that walking into Harrenhal. He was like witches and all that ooga booga shit that isn't real. And then by the end of it, he was fully embracing it. It took him tripping in the woods for 5 days to embrace
There was no progression of the trips. You
psychedelics.
could take his scenes from the different episodes, move them around, and you would not have any. There wouldn't be any difference as far as him. He didn't like start to get a little bit of clarity or a little bit of questions. It's just random trips, and then all of a sudden he's like, "I've seen enough. Pull out my sword, bend the knee." Stupid, horrible.
I mean, he
terrible.
did amass an army during a drug trip, so that's actually pretty cool.
No, he basically just pushed like for RTS game on the computer. He clicked like armies on like over like the army button for like 10, and it's just you have to wait for this little spiral of time. 1, 2, and just had to wait. He just waited around.
Okay, he collected resources to fund.
He was great at chopping wood. That was great. Daemon was inspiring.
Exactly. We saw him chopping wood. That creates
So
armies.
dumb.
And any RTS has taught us that. Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, no, that scene. Well, so many layers of that scene are dumb. One is the fact that somehow him seeing the future of the Night King gave him the perspective and the ego death to feel loyalty to Rhaenyra, which in way would have made more sense if he was just like, nothing we do matters, because down the line this crazy thing's gonna happen. Like if that was his perspective, that'd make more sense to me. But Rhaenyra is like, for like 3 or 4 episodes, she's just sitting around doing jack shit, and then being like, man, what is Daemon doing over in Harrenhal? I wish I knew. And then after 2 or 3 episodes, she's like, hey, you random council member that disagrees with me and tells me how it is, you're going to go to Harrenhal and you're going to find out what Daemon's doing. That dude disappears for 2 episodes, shows up in Harrenhal, and then she gets word, oh no, something bad is happening at Harrenhal. I guess I'll just fucking fly there. That I could have done in the first place. In like 3 seconds, she's there. And it's just like, that's resolved. That whole fucking thing is resolved in a second. But because they just had nothing to do with Daemon, they just had to stretch it out to the very end, last episode. But I was like, wait, you could just show up? You could have just done that forever ago. Sending the guy was pointless. I just fucking hated this last episode so much.
Man.
Jason, I'm going to give you a chance to apologize to Sir Kristen Cole. Because to Remy's point, Remy said, if it would have made sense if he was like, nothing matters. And that's Kristen Cole's arc so far, is he's gone full nihilistic.
Yeah.
I can't believe, if you told me at the beginning of the season that my 2 favorite characters, well, other than Aemon, but my 2 favorite characters were going to be Otto Hightower and Sir Kristen Cole, I would have been like, no fucking way. But Sir Kristen Cole, by the last, like, he so doesn't care. It's so amazing. The asshole brother of Alicent, who like is so cocky, and he's almost like Theon before he had his dick chopped off. Like he has that kind of arrogance, unearned arrogance.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm so smart because I know you're banging my sister. Like he thinks he knows everything. And then Sir Kristen Cole's just there, just like
sniffing her panties, just sitting
we're
there.
just like those dragons are gonna scorch us. We're all gonna die. I don't really care if you kill me. You could kill me. I really don't care. Your sister's not even good in bed. And the guy just like is like, okay. And it just destroys him as
I know. He like puts his sword in his sheath and like sits down next to him. Like, all right, I guess we're gonna just sit here and be depressed about the future. That was pretty cool, actually. Like that 360 or 180 on the old Cole character. Yeah. But
Sir Kristen Cole is the hero of with the hero Westeros needs. That's the title of this video.
That we do not deserve. Yeah.
The queen that never was and the hero that we never needed.
Oh God. The sea snake stuff. I'm a little glad we got
Oh,
a little
dude, fuck
closure
Corliss,
on that.
dude.
Yeah.
Garbage,
Yeah,
garbage human.
what a
Yeah, but
fucking
that
dick.
that scene was pretty powerful though, because he's walking around being this arrogant like father, like shit piece of shit, and then this bastard son just calling him out on his shit. You're dismissed. I don't want to hear it anymore. No.
Here.
You're gonna listen to shit that I had to deal with for the last 30 years. I thought that was pretty powerful. It was some good acting by Master of the Seas. Yeah, I can't remember his actual name.
Yeah, I forget the different names of those guys,
Master of
but
Ships, I think. Yeah, Master of Ships.
um,
I'm
will
glad we got a little
agree.
closure to that whole part of the story. Sorry, go ahead, Remy.
No, you're good. You're good. I agree. I will just say, I do not. Yeah, I don't think anybody in this show actually, as far as I can tell, nobody except for Lady White Worm Fuckface. Other than her, everybody is a pretty good actor.
Yeah.
I think everybody actually does a great job of being very believable within their roles. So I really think this is 100%. All the faults of the characters in the shows or in the show is 100% on the writers and the direction and the directors.
Well, I mean, not so much writing, because what they're saying and acting in the scenes is great. So it's almost like
no,
editing.
Rhaenyra is dumb. And then, okay, we talked about this early on about like the difference between dumb writing and dumb and a character that's just dumb because they're supposed to be dumb. Rhaenyra's not supposed to be dumb, but she does a lot of dumb shit, i.e., trapping 20 willing volunteers for you, trapping them in to all get burned alive in the hopes that maybe one or two make it out, instead of just sending in one at a time to figure out if they can do it. That's either dumb or psychotic, and I don't know what she's supposed to be doing, but it literally it does not stand to reason why Rhaenyra would not just be like, hey, let's go send one person in at a time. No, she's like making the guards hold them there to the point at which the guards themselves get torched.
Yeah.
Stupid shit. Stupid shit. Bad writing.
And we have talked about this, and I guess I'm splitting hairs, but I'm trying to find the difference between like writing and storytelling, I guess, is more of it, where like the writing in the scenes is what I'm saying, like what the words coming out of their mouth and how they interact with characters is great. Like what I'm watching, I'm enthralled, but the direction that is heading in and going towards, is that more storytelling, like a grander, like I'm trying to find a difference, because I'm enjoying the scenes, but then yeah, the scenes themselves don't make sense when they're all together.
It's the way, and so in my opinion, the way that you could write this scene that Remy brought up, where the dragon torches, the way, so yeah, it's not clear, because with Rhaenyra, there's two ways you can handle this. You can handle this where she has an advisor that's on the spot calling her out, being like, what are you doing? Like, this is madness. Why are you trapping these people here? And she's like, no, this is the only way. And she gives an explanation as to why she thinks this is the right decision. It at least flushes out, like, okay, she's making an active choice to do something that's really about to be proven to be really stupid. Or the other way to do it is that you show a callous side of her where she's like, I don't care. Like, this is what's necessary to win, and we're going to do everything it takes to win. And it's like, you as the audience can choose, like, I understand her point of view, or like, dang, she's pretty heartless, but they're keeping her in like kids' gloves, like, oh no, she's a good person, she wants to be a good ruler, but she does these actions that are not of a good ruler, but there's no one calling her out or like questioning, which would be then the audience being like, yeah, we have questions, and there's the guy that represents our questions, now she can answer them. And instead, we're just like, just move along. No one, like, nobody questioned the fact that she just slaughtered all of these bastards. No one questioned that. It's this big triumphant moment for the two guys that survive, but we just move on, and there's never a question of her intentions.
I'm trying to be positive, but I do want to talk some negative shit about someone in the show.
Go ahead, Jason. Come on. You can say you love the show, but this one character.
This one character, the Admiral Lohar, the chick that comes in.
Whoa! My favorite part of the whole episode. I totally forgot. Sorry, Jason. Go ahead. Sorry.
I knew that you guys, I was like surprised you didn't bring this up already.
Oh my God. I totally mind hold that.
The mud wrestling scene.
Oh no.
And like Admiral, the most like grittiest pirate chick you've ever seen. Perfect white teeth and like perfect, like that's what pisses me off about this show, is I cannot stop looking at people's teeth. I'm like, none of y'all would have the teeth that you got. You got veneers right fucking there. You are a pirate who's lived in the seas for 30 years. Brush your teeth with salt water and fucking barnacles. There's no way your shit looks like that. But yeah, she was absolutely the cringiest character that I could ever fucking like imagine getting thrown into that role. And why did we need all that whole triarchy and the blockade and the Lannister stuff?
Nobody loves and respects the trans community more than I do. I want the trans community to be given lots of representation into different various movies and shows. That being said, this character that Jason just brought up is a clear cut. This is just forget everything you think about politics and sexual orientations or whatever. This is a straight up bad miscast because the character is introduced by one of the council members talking to the Lannister guy.
This is Tyler Lannister of Casterly Rock.
Well met, Lord Tywin.
Saying he has all the respect of his men. So when very feminine body type walks in, I was like, I'm confused. Because it almost like it was a Brianna Tarth kind of thing where I'm like, oh, it's a girl that's supposed to be this badass. But I rewound it to make sure I got the pronouns right. And it said he. And I was like, I am confusion. Because that's not a medieval he. It just doesn't compute. And the way the character's handled is that I believe that's just that actor is playing a man. And apparently that's a hybrid character of two characters from the book that into one character. But that's supposed to be a man. And then it's like, it just, the way the person's voice is, I don't believe you as this character that leads men.
What sort of man are you?
Beg your pardon?
Now, if it was like Brianna Tarth, you believe. Brianna Tarth is a woman who plays a woman, but you believe that person is a badass because of the physicality, because of the somber, serious acting of Gwendolyn Christie. This person like just acts like a chick that hangs out with dudes and makes fart jokes and like thinks she's one of the guys. Now, this is I believe, a biological male that transitioned to and is now a transgender woman in real life. God bless her. But I just don't buy you as this character of the rough and tumble. We mud wrestle and I command all these men that look up to me. I just don't buy you. You don't sell me. I think I satisfied all of the possible things people may interpret from this. I love this actor. Nobody loves this actor more than I do. Wonderful in the very creepy weekend show, but is this character, I just don't think this was the right choice. Final thoughts? Any other tidbits?
Are we doing final thoughts like this episode or the season in general?
Either.
Season. Whatever.
You're like, I don't care.
Don't care. Show's dead.
10 out of 10 season. I mean, just filled the voids of my heart of Game of Thrones. No, and I can't even believe my own statement. What did I say in the beginning?
You're a terrible grifter, Jason. We need you to grift harder.
Lacking of sex scenes, inconsistent. Yes. That is my statement for the whole season. More. You're what's his face from Star Wars? Kylo Ren. The Kylo Ren more meme when it comes to sex scenes. More.
The show as a whole, if you actually average out the how good each episode is and you put it together, 2 seasons, this is maybe a 5 of a show. 5 out of 10.
The quality of the actors, though, was the only thing that would change my opinion. Whereas, like, I should have thought about this argument better, but writing versus storytelling, like writing in the scenes, I was involved, intrigued when their faces were on the screen. But as the connecting dots of all of those, it definitely fell short and took a lot longer to get to the points that I wanted to. I mean, I enjoyed it. I was Sunday at 6:00. I was watching it, waiting for it to come on. So it kept me excited throughout the season. But yeah, kind of fell short. Just a little bit.
good news, Jason. American football is back in a couple weeks on Sunday, so your Sundays will be filled with happiness and joy, just as football brings it to the rest of us. Yeah, the show just wasn't just. It really just sucks that the boys. We were looking forward to the boys coming back and House of the Dragon coming back, and the boys never got off the ground. It was clear from the get go of this season it was going to be bad. This had a lot of hope. I still auto ripping Aegon and a new one is still just so wonderful. I'll still go back and rewatch that scene because it's just so awesome. But it's just so disappointing. Aemon's great. We didn't mention Aemon, but Aemon to me is like, this is who should have been Kylo Ren. Like, this dude is obviously was a lot younger when that movie came out, but this is kind of how a Kylo Ren, a dude that's wild, menacing, but not childish. Like he is like very he does not have a great control of his temper, and he makes rash decisions, but you don't lose respect for how big of a threat he is, which is what Kylo Ren failed to do, or that character failed to do. So it sucks because there are some good characters, and like you said, Jason, I do think, and Remy said, I do think the actors really do bring it for the most part, and it's just like it's so close. It's so close, and we saw episode 4 greatness there, but it's again fleeting. All these high moments are very fleeting, and it might just be better to turn to drugs. And that's last week.